Hello.
Hello, and welcome back. Now that we got that out of the way.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello, everyone.
And welcome back to Did You?
What are we covering this episode?
Well, we are covering the Avatar, The Last Airbender, the Netflix original series that...
finally out.
Yes, it was aired, it premiered on February 22nd, so this past Thursday.
Yes.
And we are so excited to talk about that.
Oh, yeah.
But we'll get into that a little bit later. We're just going to do a quick check-in. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Had a very nice weekend.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yes. No, yeah, I mean, it was really relaxing.
Got a lot of errands done.
Yes, a lot of errands. We watched the SAG Awards.
Oh, yes.
Obviously, we watched the Avatar.
Yes.
Yeah, no, definitely excited to talk about that.
We will be specifically covering the first 4 episodes of the Netflix series.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Originally, we did say we wanted to break it up every 2 episodes, but we just got too excited and we wanted to watch more.
Yes.
And that just means you guys get to watch more too. And hopefully you're watching with us.
Yeah.
So stick around. And when we get back, we're going to cover episodes 1 through 4 of Netflix's Avatar, The Last Airbender.
Woo!
Hello, everybody, and welcome back.
Welcome.
All right, well, I mean, let's jump right into it.
Let's do it.
So we're going to cover the first 4 episodes of Netflix's Avatar, The Last Airbender. Mm-hmm. Do you have any details to start off before we get into each episode?
No, I just initial thoughts of the,
Of just the first 4 episodes?
as a whole, yeah.
Yeah. Let's do it.
What
do you think of it?
I thought the bending scenes, a lot of the time, looked pretty brutal.
Yes. Definitely my first initial.
Not necessarily gruesome or graphic, but just intense. And
yes, obviously we see scenes that we don't get in the original Nickelodeon episodes.
We'll get into that.
Oh yeah, definitely. But I mean, I think overall it's pretty good. Yeah. Obviously, it's not the way the Nickelodeon episodes are, but
I thought it's pretty dramatic too.
What? The Netflix?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, they very dramatized it. Like I said, adding those scenes that we don't get in the Nickelodeon really adds to that just more drama, just more bigger feel.
I think that's them trying to go into that Game of Thrones-esque kind of feeling. And it's I
mean, they're basically killing people left and right in front of us. We don't really got that in the Avatar version of Nickelodeon,
right?
The Nickelodeon version. Obviously, in Legend of Korra, there's a lot of brutal death scenes there too.
I can't imagine how that'll be if that ever becomes a live action series.
I mean, so far, the reception for the Netflix Avatar has been pretty good. People have been taking it really well. Obviously, way better than the movie back in 2010.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, no. Since you brought up the bending, I honestly think the bending was pretty impressive. It's faster, it's more stylized.
The CGI in general, yeah.
Yes, I mean, yes, yeah. No, I agree. The CGI is a little too much for me, but I mean,
that's a lot of
yeah. No, it's a lot, and it's a lot of money, and it takes time,
and the scale they want to make everything at, Capital City, Omashu, and all that.
Mm-hmm.
They spent a lot of money on that budget.
They really spent their time on that, yeah,
and maybe to a fault too, because it seems as though they've cut some scenes and locations.
Yeah, no, yeah. We'll get to that too. Mm-hmm. Overall, I think the characters are pretty good.
It almost feels like a play sometimes.
It does. Specifically for me is Sokka. His character does feel a little flat for me.
Yeah.
I don't think it's the actor himself. I think he does pretty well.
With what he
funny
has.
the funny parts are pretty funny with him.
Right.
But other than that, when we try to go into a different scene with Sokka that's not funny, it just feels a little too flat. There's no I don't know. There's no spice to it.
Or it's like just awkward.
Yeah.
But like not in an intentional way. Yeah. It's just like
I just felt like they didn't really know what to replace with the personality that they took out, like his sexism, his disregard to like women warriors and whatnot.
Yeah, he's now just like, I don't follow anybody.
Oh, yeah,
I know best.
Yeah.
Definitely like leaves a little to be desired.
Since you also brought up how it feels like a play, the wardrobe for the Water Tribe feels a little too clean, a little too...
Everything is very vibrant and crisp.
Yeah.
Especially like people's outfits. It's like, it doesn't necessarily feel lived in.
Yeah.
It's like...
The Earthbender warriors, though, they did feel kind of good.
Yeah.
It's just, for me, it was mostly the waterbending tribe.
Yeah.
Like they're the Southern, we haven't gotten to the Northern yet, but the Southern, their outfits seem a little too crisp.
Yeah.
A little too... I don't know, high school play.
Right. A shout out to the creature designers for all the animals, because honestly, most of them seem
Appa from
solid.
Far Away does seem...
Yes, my only critique, yeah.
From far away, he does seem like a flying... I don't know. But up close, he does seem very big, cute. Very grand, and very cute. Yes.
All right, let's go into episode 1, Aang.
Yes.
Directed by Michael Goy and written by, we've got a couple names here, Albert Kim, Michael Dante DiMartino, and Brian Konietzko.
Yes, those last two are from the original Nickelodeon episodes.
I see.
Too.
Cool.
So yeah, I mean, it starts off, we see the comet. Sozin's comet. Obviously, we don't know the name of the comet just yet.
Yeah, it's a prologue, so it takes place 100 years prior to the series.
So yeah, I mean, it's based in Capital City, a name that we do not get in the Avatar, but I'm assuming it's the Fire Nation's capital.
Yes.
So yeah, our alarms are going off. There's a chase scene.
The bending in the opening scene is very intense.
Yeah, and I mean, the chase scene is pretty good. I like this opening scene.
We see ostrich horses right off the bat.
Yes, very exciting about that. So the guy gets taken down by the firebenders. He passes a scroll to his friend.
To his Earth.
Yeah. We find out the Earthbenders. Yeah. So they're there to like
they're basically stealing
secrets.
They're stealing
their spies.
Fire Lord Sozin's plans for war.
Yes.
But it turns out
so when the guy gets captured, he gets taken to the Fire Lord, and it's Fire Lord Sozin.
And he let them escape with the scroll because it's just a red herring for everybody to kind of rile up their troops.
To protect the Earth Kingdom specifically, because like the plans were supposedly in that scroll
that he was going to attack Ba Sing Se.
Right. Yeah. But ultimately he was going to attack the air nomads. Yeah. Why? Because now one of them was going to be the Avatar. Yeah. So he's like, let me just eliminate all of them.
Right. If I kill all the airbenders, I'll kill the Avatar for sure.
Yeah. So then after that scene, we get the iconic title sequence that we get in the Nickelodeon show, just like Katara going water, earth, fire, air. Obviously, we get it live action, and I think it looks pretty cool. Yeah. It seems like it's every Avatar. Because in the Nickelodeon, I feel like it's like you get Katara, you get Azula, just like their silhouettes.
Right.
But this, their silhouettes seem like it was the Avatars.
Yeah, but I don't like the like symbols that they made up to put behind the episode names.
Yeah. No.
So far we've seen, you said like water and then earth. But like it's like,
well, no. I'm talking about when we see them bending.
No, I know. I'm just bringing up another fact. Like,
yeah. So then we get the open shot of the Southern Air Temple. We see the comet again,
and Aang is there.
Everything we don't see the comet yet. Sorry. Yeah, everything's at peace. Aang is flying around. Gyatso is calling him. We see a lot of airbenders just living their day-to-day lives. Really cool to see this, honestly, because we didn't really get that much of it. We get flashbacks, obviously, but we don't see their everyday, how they lived. I don't know, just seeing them walk around.
Because in the original series, we just got like flashback glimpses of it, and this is practically the same thing, but it's like all kind of a continued like scene. So like it just feels like nice because you get to see how it was like when Aang was like in Aang's time. But then you have all the air nomads from all the other temples coming down with their sky bison for the Comet Festival. that's taking place in the Southern Air Temple.
Yes, yeah. So the great Comet Festival.
Yeah, Aang does not yet know he is the Avatar,
but Gyatso does tell him that night while everybody is like arriving. Right. Gyatso does tell him, and obviously Aang just takes it a bad way. He doesn't want to be it. He doesn't want to take the responsibility.
Very hesitant.
Yeah, very, very hesitant. I mean, just like the Nickelodeon version, he doesn't want to jump right into it. He's still a kid. But obviously we see the meeting that Gyatso has and the leader, I guess, he wants Aang to train already, because obviously there's rumors of the Fire Nation ready to start a war with every other nation.
Yeah. So it starts getting dark, and we're introduced to Appa. Mm-hmm. And, Aang and Appa just kind of embrace each other a little bit.
Aang wants to leave.
He wants on like a little flight, like a night flight, to just kind of think about it in the clouds.
Yeah. So this is like the first major change that I've noticed. Obviously with
definitely
not just talking about the scenes that they added in the beginning and the air nomads. But this is the change to Aang's story. Instead of running away, he just wants to go, like you said, clear his mind. Yeah. Fly up in the clouds with Appa.
So he leaves, and then immediately we're
right after
taken down to the bottom, the base of the mountain, and we see firebenders ready to attack, and then they
could fly.
They fucking jetpack up.
They could fucking fly.
And apparently that is the power of the comet.
Yeah, it just makes their firebending really powerful. And then just one more thing I want to add, the fire blast that we see in the trailer, that's not fire blast. It's literally them just landing.
Yeah,
they're just landing on the mountain. Yeah. So then, we get we cut back to Aang. You can see that there's a storm developing, and he's like, "Hey, it's time to
turn back.
Let's turn back."
Yeah.
So we cut back to the air nomads getting attacked. Pretty good scene, like
really brutal,
very very sad, very intense.
Seeing like airbending, like how like that style, because we don't really see much of it in the original series.
We only see Aang really airbend,
right? And just seeing how like some of them can like kind of wisp themselves into a tornado and stuff like that.
Right. Oh my god, when she gets burned.
Oh, I know. It was like a Mortal Kombat fatality.
So sad. No, yeah. I mean, he's just coming in and just setting everybody. Yeah, just setting I mean, they're setting everybody on fire. Everything.
They're destroying the temple.
Everything. Yeah. And then we get to the scene of Gyatso, and he's protecting the small children. And he gets burned too. And then we cut back to Aang, and he's swept away by a big tsunami.
By a rogue wave, yeah. Just kind of swallows them up, and then he enters the Avatar state and freezes him and Appa in that kind of ice ball.
Yeah. Iceberg.
And then we cut to present day, and Katara is trying to waterbend a little puddle of water.
And her secret cave is the boat that gets captured.
An old Fire Nation ship.
Yeah, an old Fire Nation ship.
This is Wolf Cove.
Oh, yeah. Another name that we never really got in the show, but that's okay. It's cute. It's like a division in the Southern Water Tribe.
So it's like, okay.
So are there other?
Yeah, for sure. They're just not as like well equipped as the Northern Water Tribe.
Well, no. Yeah, but I'm talking about, are there other tribe names in the Southern?
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
We got Wolf Cove.
That's what I think. Yeah. We just see some scenes from the Southern Water Tribe, just like how people kind of interact and go about their everyday lives.
Yeah. Katara and Sokka go out fishing, and then they get pulled on this stream, and they discover the iceberg. Katara accidentally sets it off, and we get that
big beam of light.
And
Aang just kind of falls out.
Yeah, and then that's when we get the first shot of Zuko, and he sees the beam.
Yeah,
and
that's also when we first see like some kind of like displeasures between Katara and Sokka, because like Sokka just wants to leave him there.
Yeah,
and then Katara's like, no, of course we have to take him. Like,
right,
he needs our help.
Yeah. He's a kid. So they take him back to the tribe, and Grande notices right away that he's an airbender because of the arrows, and Katara just wants everybody to leave so he could get some rest. Aang wakes up, he sees kids playing, he wants to go out there and play, but at the same time he's not really sure where he is. He then calls on Appa. He's like, "Where is Appa? My sky bison." And they're like, "What?
Sky bison.
Sky bison.
Sky bison."
I thought this was a pretty cute, funny scene. Because then just like Sokka's like, "You can say it all you want. I'm not gonna understand it."
Yeah, no, literally.
And then you see the whistle. So he has the whistle this whole time. It's not like he just buys it.
Yeah,
he just had it.
And not only that, we present day people get to see airbending for the first time. And
Right,
it's pretty
right.
It's
been
pretty
100 years.
impressive.
Yeah.
Because, like, he's basically just flying in the air and just, like,
just
yelling
floating
out
around.
for Appa.
Yeah.
It was so cool.
And then you see Appa flying down, and everybody's like, what the fuck is that? I love Appa.
Aang explains to everybody in the water tribe how, like, his last night went. Like, he got caught in a wave, and he just kind of needs to get back home. And he mentions how he lives in this other air temple, and Grand just walks out of nowhere, and she's like something's afoot, like
yeah.
And she's been waiting. You know, she's been waiting for this moment her whole fucking life.
I don't know how old she is, but it's been 84 years since she's been waiting for this moment.
Probably.
So yeah, Grand takes the spotlight, and what in the Nickelodeon version we get Katara explaining the iconic phrase of, like, 100 years ago the Fire Nation attacked. No, Grand is the one explaining it in this version, and so she takes the spotlight. Good for her.
And it's like verbatim, so I enjoyed that. I was like, at least that.
Yeah, definitely a lot of exposition at this point. They're just trying to get that part over with. It felt like a lot of talking, but I mean, we do need it.
Mm-hmm. And so then Aang kind of like is chilling on one of the igloo roofs, and he is just kind of.
Before that, Grand did not care how he felt. She's like, you're the Avatar.
Wait, no, that's a little later.
Yeah,
because like they regroup. Yeah.
Okay.
So now he gets like a little time to just kind of realize what's going on. He's like, everybody I've known is dead.
Yeah,
because it's been 100 years.
Oh, that's what Grand didn't care. She's like, I'm telling you, sorry.
Yeah,
it's been 100 years.
Yeah,
you just woke up.
Yeah, bitch. You don't know this story.
The facial expression on Grand as Aang just runs away. She's like,
speaking of
it
facial
is what
expressions.
It is. Speaking old people makeup.
The old makeup kind of just looks
a little too much.
It's like too plasticky almost.
You said something also while we were watching, how it looks good in the shadows because it just defines
looks like
it pretty well.
It does look like it's like meant to be like a little dimly lit.
But when it's out in broad daylight, it just looks too fake.
Yeah. Like not transparent, just like very just like flat, but like
Yeah. And then Katara shows him that she can water bend, kind of gives a little explanation that everybody in the southern water tribe, they can't water bend or they get in trouble because the Fire Nation is able to access them more freely, I guess. They're not as well equipped as they are in the Northern Water Tribe, where they haven't been overrun yet by the Fire Nation. Mm-hmm. And then Katara drops her little water ball that Aang helps her out. Like, hey, just like don't really think too much into it. And she does it, and then she drops it because she sees a Fire Nation ship, which is what we know is Zuko's ship
approaching. Yeah, because he saw that beam of light, and he knows the Avatar is near.
Because his statue started also lighting up.
Yeah, and here's a room on the ship.
Yeah, he's very obsessed with the Avatar. I mean, obviously.
Yeah, it's his whole life now. He has no choice.
So yes, Zuko arrives and he wants the Avatar. And nobody's answering just yet, but then we get this little cool fight scene between Zuko and Sokka. I just like how direct the fire bending is at this point. Also, like during this fight scene, because it's not like I'm just gonna wait until you're. No, he's like, I'm striking you with fireballs after fireballs, and it's just Sokka just running away.
Yeah, and this is also where Grand is finally like, you're the Avatar, like they're after you.
Yeah,
like,
and then and then they're like, what do you mean? And how can you lie to us? And we got that scene. And then Aang stops the fight between Sokka and Katara. Sokka and Zuko. And he gives himself up so Zuko doesn't destroy the water tribe.
Yeah, but before Aang leaves, he looks at Sokka and tells him that no one's ever really fought for him and that he thinks he's the bravest person he's ever met.
Yeah.
And that just kind of like, and also it's just because like throughout the series, Aang just finds a way to like work people where like he just wins them over, and in that moment he like won him over.
Yeah, and because he was waiting for confirmation, he was left to this water tribe to defend it because his father left with all the other men of the tribe. So he's the only grown man in the tribe to protecting it. So he finally like gets confirmation in a sense from an outsider, and then he finds out that it's the Avatar. So it must feel good for him.
Oh, for sure. And that just kind of like whips him into shape. And he's like, when Katara suggests them going after Aang,
at first he says no. Yeah.
Well, but then he's like, absolutely.
But then he changes. Yeah. Well, then he just grabs the bag and then he's like, we're going.
Yeah.
But then Aang does manage to escape on his own. We get a little conversation between him and Iroh. he is able to escape by getting the keys.
And he goes into Zuko's room.
He finds Zuko's room. He opens a notebook where it's just a bunch of
notes on the avatars.
Yeah, of the previous avatars.
And he takes it.
Oh my god, a little thief. Yeah, so then as he's escaping, we see more fireballs. He gets shot down, but then he gets rescued by
He gets shot down by Zuko.
And really good scene.
Yeah, and then like he's falling through the sky.
The falling part, I'm like, that's the graphic there looked really good.
Yes.
Really good.
And then out of nowhere, Sokka lends a hand on top of Appa and like snags him, and then they're flying away.
And Zuko shoots another fireball.
Another one, and Katara
saves them.
Yeah, she waterbends like that shit out of the ocean and like super high up.
Super high up.
And it saves everyone.
Yeah.
And then it kind of confirms and solidifies the fact for Sokka that Katara can be like a soldier. She can fight.
She can fight.
She doesn't belong in just like the shadows.
No, yeah. And as they're flying away, they know that they can't return back home because they'll just put everybody in danger. So they decide to fly to the Southern Air Temple, and it's the first time Aang. For him, it's like
it's the day after.
Yeah, it's from one day to the next,
and it's just ruins.
And everything is overgrown, like vines,
dead,
everything,
bones everywhere.
Yeah, he finds Mount Gyatso's bones,
and it just kind of sets him off, and he goes into the Avatar state.
Yeah, and just goes on that ball of wind.
Yeah, and it just starts kind of.
I even think I saw a little bit of earthbending, but
I think there was a little bit of everything there. Yeah.
Well, I didn't see any fire, but.
And Katara and Sokka are pretty scared.
Now we get Aang. What
are you doing?
Aang. But yeah, he snaps out of it, and because he just remembers what Gyatso says. It's like you are meant to be the Avatar.
Yes.
Just know that it's going to be hard, but if there's anybody to be the Avatar, I'm glad it's you, Aang. And yeah, he just snaps out of it, and. Yeah, I mean, the episode just ends there, really.
Well, Zuko draws that beautiful portrait.
Oh, that beautiful portrait of Aang.
So much detail.
But yeah, then that's when the episode ends.
Yeah.
Pretty good episode, pretty good introduction to the series, how we're expecting of it. They're just laying it out.
So this episode felt pretty true to the series.
Mm-hmm.
Like, pretty, like, frame by frame, like, scene by scene was spot on.
Yeah.
That does not...
Except for Wolf Cove. I don't know where that came from,
but whatever.
It is what it is.
They add, but I can just assure you that is not the case for the rest of this series.
Mm-hmm.
And take that how you will.
Let's jump into episode 2.
Yes,
episode Warriors, 2. Which is a play on the Warriors of Kyoshi, and we fly to Kyoshi Island.
Mm-hmm. Also directed by Michael Goy, written by Joshua Hale. Sorry, guys. Fialkov.
Sounds good to me.
Sure. All right.
So we open up to Zuko's ship. He's frantic because he can't find his notebook.
Just trashing his
that
room.
Aang took.
Yep. Yeah. Iroh tries to explain that the notebook isn't without Aang, but Zuko's just hot-headed at this point. He isn't listening.
Yeah. And then we come back to the gang, and Sokka just wants to go home, and Katara's like, no, we need to do this.
And Aang's like, I have another suggestion. Let's go to Kyoshi Island.
Yeah. Because
he's like, I need to learn more about the Avatar and what it means to be the Avatar.
And we get the notebook. And
exactly.
And the instead of Aang just wanting to go to these random places, the notebook is now that guide to why we're traveling to these places. I mean, it's not bad. They did it pretty smooth. In my opinion, can't really complain.
No.
We also get Momo. Momo appears. He's hiding in their bag, just eating their food.
Oh my god, yes. He's just, and he's like, what is that?
What's wrong with
your bag?
And we can't forget, Grande gives Katara a little present.
The
waterbending scroll.
Waterbending scroll, yep.
So we're not going to get the pirates, but that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. I knew that was a little filler episode.
Yeah, exactly.
But Grande hiding it all this time from Katara.
It was in her best interest. But she was trying to protect her.
Grande was like, I'm not showing this to her.
Oh, no.
Grande was jealous. I'm going to say that right now. She's jealous that she can't waterbend.
Damn.
And then we cut to the title sequence. It's unique. It's them.
Yeah.
I don't really have any bad opinions or any good opinions. It's just a title sequence.
I just don't understand how behind the symbols that they use behind every
And how it's like
episode title is like, it's not. Why not just use the ones from the series?
Yeah, and like the artwork is like a brush stroke. Like it just looks like a brush.
I don't mind it.
Yeah, I mean I don't mind it either. I just don't get it. But it's whatever. Yeah. I mean it's fine.
So we continue on. Iroh and Zuko are kind of traversing through the port market. What are they necessarily looking for? Local information for the Fire Nation. So they're just kind of trying to see. It's like a hub for information, and they're just trying to see if there's been any kind of spottings of like things that have been happening.
Unusual, yeah.
Like a flying cow.
Right. But I mean, before we get there, the gang arrives at Kyoshi Island first, and they get ambushed by the Kyoshi warriors. At first, they're like, "We don't believe you. You're not the Avatar. If you were the Avatar, there would be a sign." And then, what
eyes,
a coincidence!
The eyes
just
of the statue
shines on her. I mean, on Aang, and one of the warriors like, "Is that your sign?" And then we cut to Zuko and Iroh at the port, and we also meet Commander Zhao during this scene too. First time we get him. Nobody really knows who he is. Like in the Nickelodeon show, Iroh knew of him. You know, like he's heard of him around. But in this one, nobody knows who he is. He's just
some
low level.
Name.
Yeah. But you can immediately tell that he is up to no good.
Aang and his gang have like a not a one-on-one, but just a face-to-face meeting with the matriarch of Kyoshi Island, and he's just
she's not having.
She is not having it, bitch.
No, she's like, I don't want any strangers on my island.
No, but they're just like, isn't this like a tribute to Kyoshi? Isn't this a place to learn more of her? Like that's just what we're here to do,
right? So she gives them 48 hours. Girl, you got 2 days.
Right.
2 days,
right.
And then you out. Learn what you can. Sorry about it. We also get a lot of how do I put this? Sexually frustrated scenes with Suki
and Sokka,
but specifically Suki
because
Suki
so
she wants
needs
to have
come,
sex.
Girl.
She wants to have sex, and she sees Sokka, the first outsider male, and she's like, he's in great shape.
She's like, I want him. Like there's a scene,
but she's also like, very awkward because she hasn't been exposed to the outside world.
Right.
So she's just out there just, I don't know, being a little, she's cute. She
is cute. And like the Kyoshi, I like the Kyoshi warriors in general, like how they kind of,
you know? No, yeah. Definitely. I like the makeup. I like their outfits. Pretty on point to the Nickelodeon show. And then we cut back to the port where Zuko and Iroh are at, and it's Commander Zhao. He's learning of a flying cow that was seen over Kyoshi Island, and he also finds out that what's his name, Zuko wasn't totally forthcoming on everything, and he finds out that he was in contact with the Avatar, like he was face to face with the Avatar,
because they used an excuse. Iroh made up an excuse that they were looking for like migration patterns for squid sharks.
Yeah,
they wanted to like fish them.
Yeah, and
it's like no. It's the
and
Avatar.
who tells him it was one of Zuko's
crew members, like ship crew members.
G.
I don't know his name.
It was like it's spelled Jee. So do with that with what you will. Anyways,
there's a scene where Sokka is kind of training with his boomerang in the forest, and Suki just kind of appears as she has been throughout this episode. And he's just like, I can show you. Yeah. Like, I can train you. And then she kind of just like upstages him with her fan.
At every level.
Yeah.
At every level.
Like he hit like one watermelon and they had like 6. And then she just like sliced through all of them at once.
Yeah. And then they had like a little fighting scene between them. And then I guess she just does a little too much. And he
was off put.
He was off put, which is like, come on.
Dude, you were trying to like flirt on the fact that like you are both warriors. She shows you strength and you just kind of like act like that. It's like, no, you confused her,
and I was sort of confused. So what are we doing with Sokka at that point? Like, is he shocked that a woman likes him, or is he shocked that he's getting beaten by a woman? Like, I didn't really read that character well in that point.
I don't think he realized that she liked him, and he was just kind of like, oh, she's stronger than me. Oh,
I know, but it's just, I don't know, whatever. But we knew that. We got that a couple scenes ago when he's in the bathroom getting like dressed or whatever, and like she like pokes her head in, and she says something, but then she just keeps staring at him. We like he knows that at that point. So if you're fighting, I feel like at that point while they were fighting and he walks away, it's because he was off put of how powerful she was. And at that point, like, then bring back his sexism, because that he overcomes that later on. So if we're gonna just like dip our toe in it, it doesn't make sense. But that's just my opinion.
Aang and Katara are in the Kyoshi Shrine, and they're
just reading a bunch of books.
Oh yeah, trying to get as much information seeped in their minds as possible.
But then it turns out the answers aren't in the book; they're inside Aang the whole time. He could just activate it.
They learn that all of the reincarnations of the Avatar are like within him. And
he could just talk to them.
Mm-hmm, so he is able to kind of enter the spirit world and communicate with Kyoshi herself.
Yeah. Well, he could talk to any avatar that he wants as long as he's at their shrine.
We learn later in the episode.
Yeah. But then right after we learn that information, Commander Zhao shows up with his crew, and he's like, hey, I know there's an outsider here, and I know you don't do well with outsiders, so let me just take care of that for you. Let me bring him here. I'll take him. And then the leader of Kyoshi Island, she's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And then Commander Zhao wants his crew member to search the village, and she goes, sure. And then she doesn't. So she like grabs the guy and like throws him across. I'm like, damn girl.
She's a badass.
She is a badass, and she got a lot of strength.
And like throughout the whole episode, she's just like kind of catching Suki, like being romantic with Sokka, and
she catches the
she's living for it, and I'm just like, this is so silly but cute.
Yeah. Because I'm sure, in a sense, like, she's remembering the time when she was able to, like, roam free, and, like, she's kind of feeling bad for her daughter, which I'm glad she is feeling bad for her daughter. Her daughter shouldn't, and nobody should be just locked up on an island, just talking to themselves and talking to the same people over and over again. They need to go out there and explore.
Exactly.
So then there's a fight scene between the firebenders and the Kyoshi warriors.
Before the firebenders even start fighting, there's a scene with Suki and Sokka, and they're in the dojo now, and he's like, and he's finally allowed her to show him like some moves and train him.
Yes,
and he does get better.
He does. He's a quick learner.
And then they finally like kind of kiss and like.
Well, no, they almost kiss, and then the bell sounds.
You're right.
The bell sounds.
The alarm.
That the firebenders are there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then, cut to the firebending. The firebenders attacking the warriors. Aang is in his little quest of talking to Kyoshi.
The spirit world.
We meet Kyoshi. So we don't need a solstice to talk to the avatars. We just need to be at their shrine.
Right. That's another big difference from the series.
Yeah. But at the same time, we see Zuko, because Zuko is like, he finds out that Zhao went to Kyoshi Island because of reports of maybe there's an avatar. So he's like, how am I going to get there? How am I going to go around his crewmen? And
Iroh's kind of like,
where's the wisdom?
Yeah, he's just like, where one avatar it lies, another one.
There's another avatar.
Right.
Or whatever.
He basically just suggested, let's go to the statue first instead of going into town. And luckily enough, that's where the avatar was.
Yeah. So then Katara sees Zuko and his men coming up, and she tries to defend them using waterbending. She gets flashback to when the Fire Nation attacked her village and when her mother died.
Yes.
And then we cut back to Aang talking to Kyoshi, and Kyoshi's like pissed. I love this energy from her.
Oh, for sure.
She's like, I don't care that you're 12 years old.
This whole time, Aang has been immobile, just speaking with Kyoshi, and he's just been like, just seriously kind of like saying, I don't want to kind of do this. And she's like, you don't have a fucking choice.
You don't have a choice.
Like, because like...
She's like, then expect more people to die.
Yeah, because earlier in the episode, it was saying how like Kyoshi, she started off as like a very shy girl and whatever, but she ended up becoming one of the fiercest warriors to ever be an avatar. Mm-hmm. And she basically said like, to be the avatar is to be like a merciless warrior, and you just gotta like you just gotta fight.
Yeah.
You gotta do that. You gotta do that damn shit.
And then at the same time, she's like, yeah, you're even putting this island in danger. And he's like, what? She's like, yeah, the Fire Nation is here. Right. So then he like snaps out of it, but he embodies Kyoshi, and then Kyoshi saves Katara first, knocks out Zuko, and then she goes to town and does her thing. Mm-hmm. Pretty cool scene. Pretty cool scene.
Embodying Kyoshi and just kind of like setting everybody.
In the Nickelodeon show, he embodies Roku in the Fire Nation Temple. But in this one, he's embodying Kyoshi, which is an interesting choice.
I like it.
I don't mind it. It's definitely different from the show, but I mean, I liked it. I mean, I want more Kyoshi, and I thought we weren't going to really see her until season 2, but I'm glad that they're starting off with her. And it makes sense because Aang does travel to Kyoshi Island first in the show, so it does make a little bit more sense.
Right. And who's to say that he won't see Roku?
No,
later,
we will.
For the
we will. We do see him in the when we do like the whole 100 years ago, blah blah blah. Mm-hmm. We do see him like when they're talking about the reincarnation of avatars. We do see him like walking up the stairs and taking his place as the next avatar that passed away, and they're waiting for the next one to rise.
And also earlier in the episode, when Kyoshi was speaking to Aang in the spirit world, she was telling him like, "Hey, you have the power of 1,000 benders. Like that's like what we're kind of dealing with here. Like, you don't have an option. Like you need to learn as much as possible to become as strong as possible."
Yeah, no, really good. So yeah, Kyoshi. She saves the village. Zhao runs away with his crew member.
Oh,
what?
Kyoshi also said she gave him premonitions of the future.
Oh, yes.
And so that's really what kind of set him like, oh, I gotta fucking do this.
Yeah, like I really have to go to the north. Like they were already traveling to the North Water Tribe to learn waterbending, but now it's like there's a mission. Kyoshi gives him the vision that the Fire Nation is going to do the exact same thing that they did with the air nomads 100 years ago. So the Fire Nation is planning on wiping them out.
The waterbenders.
Crazy. Yeah. So then after that scene, as the firebenders run away, we get a scene between Zhao, Iroh, and Zuko. And, Zhao is just being his little sly self and just being just snarky. He's like, well, I didn't know that the avatar was going to be there.
I know.
I didn't know. But let's work together. And Zuko at first is like, no. But then Iroh was like, actually, let's do it.
Right.
Let's do it.
So they
Why
have a
not?
partnership now.
They have a partnership. And then Zuko goes, just don't tell anybody. And then
I
Zhao
know,
goes,
and I was like,
oh, I promise. It's like a girl, he had those fingers crossed behind his back. And he's like, yeah.
Of course.
I'm not going to tell anybody.
And the very next scene is him
writing a fucking letter to the Fire Lord.
Yeah, and so by the end of the episode, the Fire Lord knows that the Avatar has returned.
We get a shot of the Fire Lord, Ozai, right?
Yes.
Fire Lord Ozai. Hey, this Fire Lord is hot.
He is. Oh my God.
Can't wait to see
baby.
Him. Burn me. And now we're going to jump to episode 3, Omashu.
Directed by Jabbar Rezani. Written by Christine Boyle. Oh. Written by Christine Boylan.
You got it. Nailed it.
Thank you. So we open on Capital City.
Mm-hmm. We get that classic Fire Nation soundtrack.
Yeah.
Really? I like it.
There's a group of resistance members kind of meeting in like a dark room or whatever. And they've the leader of that kind of group has said that they found somebody that works in the palace. In the palace that's
willing to help.
Exactly.
Willing to bring them in.
Sneak them into the palace.
Yeah.
Like
and
what
then,
a
he introduces her and she's like, yeah, they killed my brother and my mother.
Right.
I'm gonna do everything it takes.
Mm-hmm.
They sneak into the palace and
they enter
the trap.
They enter the throne room and they're met by just roaring fire and an empty chair.
And then Fire Nation soldiers come out and then
they surround them.
Yeah, Ozai comes down and he's like, what did you like? You think you were going to kill me, and then my Fire Nation soldiers are just going to like give up.
Right.
And then the other major gag of this scene,
the maiden that
helper is Azula.
It was Azula, the gag bitch.
If I only paid attention to the actress, I would have been like, oh, that's Azula. But I honestly didn't think of it.
She did so well.
And what threw me off is like, what was this scene? Like, obviously, we don't see this scene in Nickelodeon, so it just threw me off. Just didn't.
So Azula,
I think they did good.
We don't see Azula till the end of season 1, but we're seeing her episode 3. And that's going to happen with a lot of characters that don't even appear in the first season of the original series. Mm-hmm. But I mean, after we kind of got past that, we were able to enjoy the episodes a little more. Mm-hmm. I would say.
Yes. Initially, episode 3 was not my favorite out of the 4 episodes, just because of what we just said. Like they try to do a lot in this in this episode.
Yeah,
as we get into it.
They put together a lot of separate episodes and just kind of tried to make it one thing.
But when we watched it the second time, it made a little bit more sense to me. So
right, we weren't fixated on the changes. We were just able to enjoy what was kind of presented in front of us.
Exactly.
I wrote something down specifically for Azula to describe her as a character because honestly, she is nailing it. This actress,
she is.
I need to
her
look
father.
Up her name.
Her father kills these rebels, and she's just staring like
she loves it.
She's living
trauma-fueled nepo baby. This is also the scene where Ozai kind of informs Azula that Zuko was able to find the Avatar, and this was a kind of task that Fire Lord Ozai gave to Zuko that nobody thought would ever be achieved.
Yeah, he even said it like he did the impossible.
Yeah, your brother did the impossible.
He's bringing me the Avatar or whatever.
And now this directly threatens her claim to the throne. So she's just kind of like set on her path for the series at this point.
Yeah, we get right off the bat that she does not like her brother. Yeah. Like you could tell. Mm-hmm. You could tell. She was happy to be the only child
absolutely
there at the palace.
Yeah.
And then we get the new title sequence. So it seems like there's a pattern going on. Every 2 episodes, we got a new little title sequence.
Yeah, different element.
Yeah, the color changed in this one.
Yeah.
Then after the title sequence, we cut to Katara waterbending, and she's like, Aang, join me. And Aang is like, no, I only had really one master, and that was Gyatso.
And it's like, fuck you, little bitch, because Gyatso can't train you how to waterbend.
Right.
He can only train you how to airbend. You are a master. Like, come on, let's start working on something else.
Yeah, it is an interesting choice that
he chooses.
Yeah, that the Netflix version chooses not to have Aang waterbend just yet. When in the Nickelodeon, he was sort of already waterbending. I mean, he made that big wave, and we see how jealous Katara is.
Yeah, and Katara's trying to do a water whip, and she just can't seem to get it right, and it's because she keeps having like these PTSD episodes of her mom dying.
Yeah,
and it's affecting her bending. She realizes.
Mm-hmm. So then they keep traveling, and they make it to the city of Omashu. Mm-hmm. Looks really cool. I
love it. It's beautiful.
The big walls. It's carved on a mountain. It's really cool.
The mailing system.
You can tell they spent a lot of money and time on it.
Yes,
and then they get help from a random person to sneak into the city of Omashu.
Yeah, just some merchant in line.
Yeah, because the city of Omashu is on complete lockdown because of the Fire Nation. Totally understandable. So it's really hard to get in and get out. But then as later we find out, it's so easy to get in and get out anyways through other ways.
Mm-hmm. Like super easy.
Then we get the first look of the cabbage merchant.
I know.
And throughout the whole episode, they're just teasing his my cabbages.
Yeah, like he keeps having scenes where he can say it, but like they cut the scene and you don't get to hear it. And
right, or it's like in one moment, Katara's like, I don't have time for this.
No, yeah, oh, so rude.
Then there's an explosion and it's just a little chaotic. We meet Tio.
Yeah, so the whole point they go to Omashu is because Aang thinks he sees an airbender in the sky, and they just follow them, and they end up in Omashu.
Yeah. And he also brought them to Omashu because it's the city of inventors, builders, just a network of information, good food.
Yeah.
So they want to take a little detour over there to get more information from like the Earth, from an Earth nation. So yeah, there's an explosion. Sai comes out to save his son Tio, and this scene is a little weird for me because it seems chaotic and it seems like there's an explosion, but at the same time it doesn't feel that chaotic. Like I would have added more extras, like running around. It just seemed like a little conversation that Sai and Katara were having. Oh hey, I'm Sai. Oh hey, I'm Katara. Let's go. But yeah, meeting Sai and Tio, we can already tell that we're not going to get the Eastern Air Temple this
so in the original series Sai and Tio are characters that we find in the Eastern Air Temple, but now they live in Omashu, so that's a whole location that we don't get to see, and that's probably just because of budget reasons.
Then we cut to Azula again, and we meet Mai and Ty Lee. Again, we don't really get them until the second season in the original show, so it's another choice I decided to make. I mean, if you're going to introduce Azula this early on, you kind of have to introduce her friends.
Yeah, and I live for Ty Lee. Ty Lee is
I can't wait to see her do her cartwheels and shit, and attacking your pressure points.
Yes.
So now at this point, our friends are splitting up because they're all doing their separate missions. Aang is going with, because they talk, Aang at first, he's like, okay, let's just leave. But then he changes his mind to like, hey, let's help.
Yes, because once they arrive into the city, there's a bombing.
Yeah.
And we're just assuming that it's Fire Nation spies. Right. And so Aang comes back out when he's decided we're leaving, and he sees like all the destruction and kind of like...
And he's like, I have to save them.
He's like, I have to save them. I have to save everybody one at a time. Like,
right.
So they stay. Mm-hmm. And he's like, I'm going to figure this out.
So he goes off on a mission with Tio, and... Sokka stays with Sai to develop the hot air balloon, basically.
Yeah.
And then Katara just stays behind to practice on her waterbending.
Yeah.
She ends up seeing Sai talking to this mysterious man.
A hooded figure.
Yeah. And then she follows this mysterious hooded figure with the merchant that helped them sneak into Omashu. We later find out that secret merchant is Jet.
Yes.
So they're combining a whole lot of episodes into this one episode, just a lot of storylines into one.
Yeah.
Like I said, at first, it was a mess for me to really comprehend what was going on and whatnot, but then...
I was very overstimulated.
Yeah.
I was just like...
Just because I'm like,
wrong,
oh my
wrong,
God.
Wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm like, oh my God, there's that. So it was a little overwhelming, but then the second time, it was a lot better to watch it.
Yeah. But I was just like, my brain just was like, this is not... No!
So Katara and Jet follow the firebender. We find out that he's the firebender, that Sai has been a traitor, has been talking, like giving secrets and whatnot. So Jet and Katara follow him to the woods. Again, at this point, I'm like so confused. I'm like, they were just in the city and now they're out in the woods. But I guess there's some mountain areas in the city that's not like developed with like buildings and
like
whatnot.
Higher up in the mountain.
Right. So they think they have the upper hand, then they don't, because the firebender has friends, but then they do have the upper hand because we get to meet Jet's gang.
Yes.
Really excited to meet all of them. Lungshot, Smellerbee, Pipsqueak, and the Duke.
Yes. They're a fun little ragtag group.
Yeah. Then we cut to Aang and Tio finding the jelly bombs in the cave system, and they're realizing, hey, I don't think this is the Fire Nation. This is too homemade, right? Like it was just like he just could tell like it wasn't the Fire Nation at first in that moment.
Jet tells Katara the story about losing her own village.
Yeah, so now we get this intimate conversation between Katara and Jet, and Jet helps Katara
kind of think
unblock her trauma in a sense to be able to waterbend.
Exactly. So instead of thinking of like the worst point in like her mom's life, she's thinking about like
the best moments.
Yeah. So like a specific moment is that every morning she would wake up to just stare at the sunrise. Yeah. So that's what she thinks about when she waterbends, and it helps her achieve this new move that she's been practicing.
So then the gang, they all meet up again, and they all have conflicting stories as to who is the one creating these bombs. Yeah. Katara still believes it's the Fire Nation. Sokka and Aang are like, no, it's Jet. Katara leaves in a state of fury because she's like, it can't be Jet, because she's in love with him.
And she saw Sai.
And she saw Sai talking to the Fire Nation.
Yeah. At the same time, Zuko and Iroh enter the city, and they're just kind of traveling through the market.
Yeah, because there were reports of the Avatar at the city of Omashu, so they went there to get confirmation.
They are undercover, so they cannot firebend.
Nope, they cannot. So then, Katara leaves, and she meets up with Jet again, and then, Jet basically just tells her, yeah, it's me. And then she runs back to Sokka and Aang, and she's like, you were right. He is planning on killing Sai, and Sai has a meeting with the king of Omashu, so Jet was going to use this opportunity to essentially kill them both and make it seem that it was the Fire Nation. Katara and Sokka go to save the Earth King and Sai, while Aang stays back and fights Zuko, because Zuko and Iroh reveal themselves, and they're like, you're not escaping us again. So we get that scene between Zuko and Aang, their little fight scene, their first fight scene of the Netflix show, and it's pretty cool. I like the little chase scenes in this one.
Well, they fought before in the first episode too, like when Aang escapes off the boat.
Well, yeah, but that wasn't like a fight.
Right.
This was like their first interact, like their first
physical fighting.
Yes.
Since he can't firebend. Yeah.
And Zuko uses his firebending, and we get the first, my cabbages!
Yes, and it's so, it's everything you want.
Yeah, and then the whole public starts screaming because there's a firebender, and just mayhem. Mayhem.
Why did he firebend? What did Aang say to set him off? I forgot.
I don't remember, but he firebends.
He learns that Aang got the notebook.
Oh, yeah.
Because Aang's like...
you've been chasing me for 3 years.
And he's like, how do you know it's been 3 years?
Yeah.
You bastard.
Yeah. And then cut back to Katara and Sokka. She sees Longshot getting prepared to shoot his arrow that has fire.
Yes. Did we say...
we talked about it, yeah. That Sai is going to meet with the king, and...
They switched out the suitcases?
Yes, that Jet used the plan to... yes. Come on, keep up.
Sorry, guys. So
yeah, Katara uses waterbending to put out the fire of the arrow, and she saves the day.
Yeah.
And then back to Aang. Aang is trying to put out all the fires, and he gets captured by the the Earthbending Nation soldiers.
Yeah, and
him and Iroh.
Iroh firebends to kind of take the distraction off of Zuko and make it seem like he was the one the entire time, and he kind of just takes the fall for that.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the first time watching this episode, I didn't really like it, but the second time, I had more of an open mind, and I liked it.
Yeah, it grew on me for sure.
And now we're going to talk about episode 4, Into the Dark.
Yes, directed by Jabbar Rezani and written by Keely MacDonald.
So we cut, the first scene that we get is Aang and Iroh meeting again. They're both in prison this time in the caves of the Earthbending.
The Earth Kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
Aang's just kind of yelling out to the guards, and Iroh's just like, hey, you're better off just kind of keeping quiet.
Yeah. Then we cut to the next scene, and Sokka confronts Sai, saying, "Are you a traitor? Are you a traitor?" And Sai,
he admits to it.
Yeah, he reveals that he is, and his son is disappointed, but Sai is like, "I'll try to make things better."
He's like, "I did it for us. Like, I did it so that I would keep us safe. I would keep Omashu safe."
And then we get Zuko knocking out a fire soldier and taking his outfit.
Yeah, an Earthbender. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then we cut to the title sequence, and it's the same one as before.
Mm-hmm.
And when we come back, we got a flashback.
Yeah, Aang and Bumi 100 years prior
at the city of Omashu, and we see that Bumi was the one that made the whistle, the Appa whistle. And then we cut back, and there's a conversation between Sokka, Katara, and Sai, and they're talking about tunnels.
Secret tunnels.
Yeah.
Secret
when I first
tunnels.
heard it, I was like, it can't be the tunnels, but we'll get there.
Iroh then gets taken to the pit in the next scene, which is a prison labor camp.
Yeah, like an intense one where nobody ever comes out of it, and you never hear from them again.
And Aang is taken to see the king.
Gets to meet the king.
Next scene, Sai receives a message from his Fire Nation contact, and Sokka pleads with him to basically just set him up so that, we could stop this like system of spies in the city.
So yeah, they're trying to set a little trap. Aang meets the king. Right off the bat, the king is like, "Oh, you're the Avatar." Like, he just plainly says it.
Yeah. And then Aang realizes that the king is Bumi.
Because of his fucking laugh.
And Bumi's like 112 years old at this point.
Yeah, they're both like, "How are you alive?" "Well, how are you alive?" And they're like,
literally.
basically like, touche. So yeah, Aang is a little snarky, and then the king is like, "Let's throw him a feast." Just like the Nickelodeon show. He's crazy. He's bonkers.
Yeah. But I think he's a little more mean in the series now.
He is a little bit more mean. And I mean, we find out because he's like angry at Aang because Aang has been gone this whole time. And
he's just been having to face this war for the last 100 years.
Yeah. He just has this anger towards his childhood friend for leaving and not defending the world and not defending Bumi himself. Bumi just feels hurt. So then we get a scene with Katara, and Jet sneaks up on her, and he's like, "How could you do that to me?" And he's like so pissed and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, girl, get off your high horse. And
they kind of fight a little bit. They tussle, and Katara just wipes his ass. And we see her use the little freeze technique. First time seeing her do it, and it's pretty cool. And he's like progressing. Every time we see her waterbend, she's got a new move.
Yeah, and then he's like, "It's because of me you can do this." She's like, "Girl,
it's because of me.
It's because of me." Yeah. So then at the feast, King Bumi gives Aang 2 choices to eat meat or the soup. Aang chooses the soup because he doesn't eat meat. And then Bumi goes, "Oh, good choice." So then Aang is like, "Is this a toast?"
Right.
And then around the dinner table, around the dining hall, I guess, we see statues of Flopsy. So we may not see Flopsy, but we'll see statues of Flopsy.
Flopsy was too expensive.
Yeah, but we see statues, and I'll take it.
And this is where kind of Boomy and Aang are at odds, where Boomy like explains to Aang, you may be 100 years old, but you haven't lived for 100 years.
Yeah, because Aang is like, do you not care? And then King Boomy's like, girl, I've been
no
alive
choice
for the last
care.
100 years.
I've had no choice.
Yeah, people have been dying left and right. Yeah, you've been sleeping in an iceberg. So, I mean, understandably, I mean, I can understand why he's angry at Aang, but at the same time, he can't fault Aang because Aang didn't intentionally try to freeze himself.
And not only that, if he weren't to have done that, he would have died that night.
Yeah, he wouldn't have been powerful to defeat them, to defeat the Fire Nation. We cut to Sokka and Katara, and they're entering a little cave system.
Yeah, and they
hear music.
Yeah,
and
the minstrels.
Yeah. So another thing that from season 2 that we get in this season, interesting choice, but whatever. We'll see.
Secret tunnel.
My reasoning. Now, hear me out. The reason why we're getting so many season 2 stuff is because season 1 maybe didn't have a lot of materials, and season 2 just has so much materials. Because think about it. We have the desert scene. We have Bossing Say. We have so much that we can go into in season 2. So they're introducing a lot of season 2. So when we get it in season 2, we're not like surprised that, oh, who are May and Ty Lee? Why did we get them before?
Right.
Well, we did.
Right. So. I also feel as though like they're kind of clumping different scenes from like, because we go back to Omashu in season 2, but I have a feeling that like we're just going through all of the kind of stuff about Omashu now because we're not going to be returning in the second season.
Yeah. We'll probably hear things of Omashu because Omashu does get captured in the second.
Right.
Sorry, spoiler.
Whoops. I mean...
Girl, it's been out since 2005.
Literally.
But Omashu does get captured, so I'm sure we're going to still see it. I don't know if the gang will travel there necessarily. Right. But yes, so Aang and Sokka and Katara are in the tunnels. They meet what do they call the what?
The minstrels?
The minstrels?
I'm pretty sure.
I don't know. But they're a musical group that they love.
They're just down there.
Yeah, they love playing in the tunnel because it has great acoustics.
Yes. And they tell them of
the city of Omashu and how the city of Omashu came to be.
It's the tale of two lovers,
Oma and Shu. In the Nickelodeon, it's just some heterosexual couple, but in this one, they're gay lovers.
Lesbian.
Really cute scene. It's the same story like Nickelodeon.
Yeah,
just that there are two girls. I love it.
We cut to Iroh traveling through the forest with his Earth Kingdom guards. And one of them approaches him, and he's just like, "Oh, how are you feeling? Do you need anything? Like, is there anything I can do?" And then he just 180s and punches him in the gut.
Yeah.
And he's just like, "You killed my brother."
Mm-hmm.
Like,
And then as they are about to leave, Iroh drops Pai Sho, a Pai Sho token.
He drops his lotus tile. Which Zuko knows holds like a significance to Iroh. He doesn't know exactly why, but it's a message that Zuko would see and know how to respond to.
knows the only message that he can relay from that is that his uncle loves Pai Sho. So he knows if he sees that tile, he's like, "Oh, that's my that's my uncle." But obviously, there's a deeper meaning to the lotus tile.
Mm-hmm. We cut to Aang and Boomy discussing Aang's path to the north. Boomy's just kind of like, you shouldn't go like directly forward. Like you got to go like
because there was a lot of fire.
Yeah, a lot of like Fire Nation territories up there, just captured by them.
Mm-hmm. We get an argument scene between Katara and Sokka. In the tunnels, they see the glimmering gems, but they're following the trail, and they're just having their brother and sister argument.
Yeah.
Then we cut back to Iroh, and this scene gets a little bit more intense between him and the earthbending soldiers, to the point that he sets one of them off, and the firebending soldier just tries to smash him with a big boulder.
The
earthbender. Sorry,
you're good. The Earth Kingdom soldier also like kind of speaks out of context or falsely, saying how like Iroh just has no kind of like feelings of loss or anything like that, and that kind of just sets us up for the next scene where it's a flashback to Iroh's son's funeral.
Yeah, because Iroh is the great dragon of the West, and he laid siege on Ba Sing Se for 600 days until the death of his son. After that, he left and willingly. He basically raised the white flag and surrendered. So he returned home disgraced while his son died a hero.
And Zuko, out of nowhere, kind of shows compassion towards Iroh. There was a medal that his son had earned in his trainings that he kind of gave to Zuko as like you got this, like you're destined to be great,
you're strong.
And he gave it to Iroh. Mm-hmm. He gave it back to Iroh, and then he sat with Iroh throughout the whole funeral, just kind of solidifying like the fact that like they're there for each other.
Yeah. And then we cut back to the present, and it's two shots basically back to back. The first shot is Katara and Sokka getting lost, and they notice that the walls are changing. And then we cut back to Aang and Boomy. They're talking a little bit more. Aang gets trapped in the rock candy. Yeah. Pretty cool scene. And then they reach the battle arena. And then we cut back to Katara and Sokka. And then they meet the Badger Moles. We get the big Badger Moles.
And they are some scary looking motherfuckers.
They really are. Really cute. They look like big skunks. Big skunks.
Big badgers, yeah.
So they're just breaking down these walls. They trap their prey necessarily in in these tunnels. And the only way out is to show some kind of love.
Yeah. So towards the end of the episode, we find out that they respond to feeling. They don't. They're blind. They can't really navigate with sight. They navigate with feeling, and they especially respond to love.
Yes, yeah, just like the show, in the Nickelodeon show. Mm-hmm. And then we cut to Zuko saving his uncle. Pretty cool scene. Again, they did pretty well with bending styles,
yes.
Especially this fight between Zuko's firebending and the
earthbending,
the soldiers of the earthbenders. Yeah. Iroh does get a little hurt because he shows compassion towards the earthbender soldier. But again, you can't really put the earthbender from soldier at fault. Like, if I was in that position, I would probably want to kill Iroh too.
Oh, for sure.
But yeah, Zuko saves Iroh in a sense, and they leave.
So Katara and Sokka are finally kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place with the Badger Moles, and that's when they realize that it's love. Mm-hmm. And Sokka just kind of asks him very nicely,
"Can you take me to the palace?"
And he starts digging.
Yeah, the Badger Mole starts digging. So cute. And then we get Aang and Boomy's fight, the last challenge, as Boomy likes to call it. And it's just a fight between them. When I first saw this clip in social media, I was a little hesitant, but it didn't look that bad when watching it. I thought it was pretty cool. Pretty cool scene. Boomy is just being dramatic, saying, well, you can't save the world if you think the way that you've been behaving is going to save the world.
Right.
Whatever.
And then we finally, towards the end of the fight, the roof is starting to cave in, and Aang is holding up a giant piece over his head and a giant piece over Boomy's head, trying not to let them fall.
And Boomy's like, you have to
choose. Yeah, you're in war, you have to make tough choices every day, and it never stops.
And then Katara
starts now.
Yeah, and then Katara and Sokka show up. Sokka pushes the king away, and Aang is able to just drop the big boulders, and then Boomy's like, oh, you cheated, you had friends to help, you can't have friends to help, it's not real life.
And Aang's like, the only way I'm gonna save the world is with my friends.
He's like, they just basically they just saved both of us right now,
exactly.
So I'm sure they can save us. Okay. Yeah, Boomy's just being dramatic, and then Aang shows Boomy that, hey, I didn't forget about you because I still have the apple whistle that you gave me, and then that just snaps Boomy out of his little mumbo jumbo.
Boomy's just like, oh, you've thought of me about me this whole time.
You love me. Yeah, you thought of me. Oh, you were in that iceberg and you thought of me. And then we cut to the scene. They're outside. The king gets word that the Fire Nation is ready to attack the city of Omashu. Yeah, because Sai ends up helping them, and he gives up the informant to the king and his soldiers, and so they were able to take down the inner network of the spies in the city of Omashu. So that's how they found out that Fire Nations are close to their empire. The city.
And Aang and his gang leave Omashu, but not before Aang and Boomy go ahead and take one final ride through the mailing system.
And there you get one more final, my cabbages! And then we get the shot of Iroh and Zuko. They're
Leaving
rowing away.
night,
They're rowing away. They're going back to their ship. And then Zuko sees
Appa flying in the sky.
And then that's how the episode ends. Pretty good. The first time, good. Second time, better.
Yes.
Watching it. Yeah.
I feel like my biggest critique is just kind of how Boomy was as a character. I don't feel like it was necessarily like the right route to go with him. He's just overtly bitter, and it's just like, I don't know.
Yeah. And I think that's why he snaps out of it. So when we get him again, he's probably going to be that happy, joyful, crazy king that we know and love.
You're right.
Now we're going to take a quick little break, but stick around, and we're going to just talk about some news from the past week.
Yes.
Some political news and some entertainment news too.
Oh, yeah.
To do what? I don't know.
To talk to you.
And welcome back, everybody.
Welcome.
In this part of the podcast, we're going to just recap on some news that stood out to us in the past week. And yeah, so let's just jump right into it.
Let's do it.
Hey, if you stay informed, you don't got to be informed.
Exactly.
All right, so the first news article that I want to talk about is, well, it's very close to my heart.
Oh, yeah.
Student loans.
Ugh. Did you hear about Biden?
Well, this past week, Biden has announced another $1.2 billion in forgiveness for those who have student loans, specifically those who borrowed less than $12,000 and have been paying off their loans for the past 10 years consistently. This brings Biden to canceling more than $130 billion in his 4 years of presidency, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
So far, mine have not been canceled, so I'm waiting. Biden.
Patiently. We are waiting
Biden,
patiently.
I'm waiting. At the end of the day, it's good. It gives relief it gives relief to people who have been paying it off for 10 years. Like, listen, I don't want to wait 10 years.
Yeah.
But
you specifically
it's really good for those who are getting it canceled.
You specifically have to be a part of a plan. What plan is what's
the
plan?
SAVE plan. SAVE plan.
And what does that stand for?
I am not sure. But you could go, just Google Save Plan, go to FAFSA, and just fill out an application if you haven't already. They will contact your student loan provider, wherever you pay your student loans, and it will budget out what you're making. Like, it'll just take everything into account, and it could give you a low monthly payment. And then hopefully the Save Plan just gets more improved over the years. And hopefully we just look at full cancellation of student loans debt, because, again, it's not fair.
And we ourselves owe not the most in debt, but imagining that just being forgiven.
Just being not part of our daily budget that we have to, like, put into calculation.
It would be life-changing.
Yeah. Obviously, we want this whole thing to be canceled, but this cancellation does boost the economy. It gives people who have student loans feel more comfortable in completing important and big purchases, such as buying a house without a debt looming over their heads constantly. And even sometimes you can't even get a house because student loans are looked just worse than a credit card debt.
Yeah.
So if you have student loans, it looks really bad on you. And I don't even know why when it should look good, because it's like, oh, you went to school for an education. A credit card debt to me should look worse than student loans. But I mean, I can acknowledge that this is in the right direction. I want more of it, obviously, and I have faith that Biden will do more, especially if he gets his second term and he gets his last 4 years
this November.
Yeah, because then he doesn't. Yeah, please, guys, vote, because we're going to get the same showdown that we got back in 2020. But yes, just remember how vital it is to vote whenever you have the chance. It's the only way you will see change. So now, a little bit more political news, and this one relates to the Supreme Court and their potential ruling on the EPA rule called the neighbor law rule, or good neighbor rule. Mm-hmm. But, well, guys, the Supreme Court, they're Supreme Courting again, and it's not great because it's all conservatives. Mm-hmm. It's like 3-5. I don't know. Not that many liberals.
No.
So they're currently reviewing an environmental protection agency law. So the EPA created a rule called the Good Neighbor Rule. They've been enforcing this law that is intended to restrict smokestack emissions from power plants and other industrial sources that burden other states where the wind. So, like, let's say there's a downwind and the wind is traveling to the south. So all the pollution from the state up north is polluting the air in the state below them. Mm-hmm. And that's not good.
No.
Imagine having asthma, imagine having any other health conditions, and you have to breathe in this air that is not good for you. More visits to the doctor. It could lead to serious harm. It could even lead to their death. And like, come on now. I want to protect our planet too, but let's also protect the humans living on this planet.
Right.
So it's like, this tackles both of it. But anyways, the EPA just wants to stop states that are above other states to pollute their air. And the Supreme Court is reviewing this law, and they've already sent out signals saying it oversteps, it does this, it does
bullshit.
That. Like, honestly, bullshit stuff. The 3 states that are challenging it are Ohio, Indiana, and West Virginia. The case is called Ohio versus Ohio v. EPA. And why is it important? Well, because it impacts global warming, and like I said before, it impacts people's well-being.
Yeah.
And also in recent rulings, the Supreme Court has already restricted the EPA by limiting their authority to regulate carbon dioxide emissions from power plants. And it seems like they're going to do it again. They're going to restrict their authority. And the EPA, if they keep doing this, EPA won't have really any powers to do anything to protect our planet.
Yeah.
So those are my 2 news that I got from this week. What are your 2 news?
So, one thing in entertainment news, this Saturday was the SAG Awards, and it was the first time they were being broadcasted live
on Netflix.
So, initial thought,
they had no commercial breaks.
There was nothing.
No commercial breaks.
So what they substituted as a commercial was a backstage kind of live interactions with people that what it was intended to be. It was hosted by Tan from Queer Eye, and he was just supposed to talk to the winners as they received their awards and came backstage. Later through the night, it was just random people, like random celebrities that were just
out of their
backstage. Yeah, it was funny. But just starting off, it felt very like
it was rough. It was rough at first.
A rough cut. So this is all live, but like you could see like just like camera equipment.
I don't know. It felt last minute planning.
It just, they had like this whole like opening sequence where different celebrities kind of took the mic and walked around and just kind of told the camera why they're an actor. Honestly, it was rough, but it felt kind of charming.
Yes, it was very charming.
Yeah, like because like the SAG Awards, like the people that vote are their
peers.
Yeah, their peers. Yeah. All these
actors voting for each other.
Exactly. So like the fact that it wasn't like this like polished like network like award show, it was.
I mean, even those shows are never polished to a T.
But like it did feel a little rougher, but it almost felt like it did feel charming. In a way.
I liked it.
I liked it too.
It was rough at first, especially when they did and I'm an actor that segment.
Exactly.
It felt rough. They got the flow a little bit as they kept going on.
Right. It ended with Idris Elba.
Love Idris.
Mm-hmm. But I did enjoy the cursing.
Yes.
So nothing was kind of like censored. So that hearing these celebrities and actors and actresses just kind of curse.
We start off with the Devil Wears Prada bit.
Yes. Okay, let's move on to things that we liked in the awards show.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, so it kind of like Meryl...
Meryl Streep walks out.
And she's presenting the first award.
And she's clumsy. And I'm like, what is going on?
She runs into the fucking mic.
I'm like, what is going on?
And she's like, I don't have my glasses and I forgot the envelope. And then you got like...
Stage right, here comes Emily Blunt. Stage left, here comes Anne Hathaway. Anne Hathaway has the card.
Either
the envelope or the glasses.
One of them has the card, one of them has the glasses.
Vice versa, yeah.
And then they're like, it's their little reunion.
Yeah.
Anne Hathaway's wearing cerulean. She's wearing a belt. It's great.
Oh my gosh, she was. That's so funny.
Absolutely.
I didn't catch that.
The whole event was 2 hours, so 2 hours nonstop streaming.
No commercials,
on Netflix.
like we said, just full on that.
When they announced that it was streaming, like in the award show on Netflix, nobody in the audience, none of the actors seemed happy.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly don't even think they cared.
But not even like cared to like even make.
I don't know.
And let me tell you, people were drunk.
Oh, I mean, when Pedro Pascal went up there to claim his award, he's like, I'm drunk.
Yes.
My favorite part of the whole night.
So he won for like, what did he win for?
It was for male actor in a drama series for The Last of Us. Great show.
Yes. So he was competing against like 4 other actors, and they were all practically from Succession.
Yeah, like 3 of them were from Succession.
And Pedro wins, and he goes up and he's like, I'm drunk.
I wasn't expecting it.
I wasn't expecting this. I'm going to have a panic attack and leave.
And he is the first Latino male to win in this category at the SAGs Awards. Yeah. So now I'm gonna just quickly go over who won in which category. So we have Jeremy Allen White winning male actor in a comedy series for The Bear. We have Ali Wong winning for a female actor in a TV movie or limited series for Beef. And then we have, I am so sorry, girl, but I'm going to mispronounce your last name, but Ayo Edebiri winning for female actor in a comedy series for The Bear. We have not seen The Bear. I have no interest, but Victor does.
I do.
So
I have a background in like cooking, just from previous jobs. So like it interests me. I want to see like what the banter is kind of like. I want to see how like the dynamics of like the kitchen are.
Yeah, I mean they're winning awards, so they're doing something right.
They're doing something right, bitch.
Then we go to the male actor in a drama series. We covered that. That's Pedro Pascal winning for The Last of Us. And then female actor in a supporting role in a motion picture. We got Divine Joy Randolph. I love her. Oh, yes. Male actor in a TV movie or limited series. Steven Yeun for Beef.
Oh, yes.
Sorry, I did not say that Divine Joy Randolph won for The Holdovers. Mm-hmm. Ensemble in a comedy series. The Bear. So they're doing something right.
Yeah.
Male actor in a supporting role. We got Robert Downey Jr. for Oppenheimer. Female actor in a drama series. We got Elizabeth Debicki for playing Princess Diana in The Crown. An ensemble in a drama series, Succession 1, which is kind of surprising that this is the only win that we saw from them that night.
I'm glad.
Me too, but I thought they were going to win since it was their last season. But
no, they got their limelight.
We didn't watch that show either, so I don't really care. Then we have male actor in a lead role motion picture. It's Cillian Murphy for Oppenheimer. We have Lily Gladstone winning female actor in a lead role motion picture for the movie Flowers of the Killer Moon. And
Killers of the Flower Moon.
Killers of the Girl, we didn't watch it. And then the main award of the night, the cast in a motion picture, went to Oppenheimer.
Yes. Moving on to Beyonce Act 2.
Beyonce.
Are you guys ready? This album's going to be dropping March 29th of this year. So far, we have 2 singles.
In a month.
I know.
Crazy.
And we're going to cover it.
Yeah,
obviously. Did you listen to it? Because we are going to. She's released 2 singles so far, Texas Hold'em and 16 Carriages. I think she released them on Super Bowl weekend.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right
Texas Hold'em now is number 1 in the country Billboard music charts.
Yes.
Beyonce herself is the first black female artist to achieve this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I mean, it's been 50 years since a black woman was close to the top, and the closest she was at number 22.
Isn't that fucking insane?
50 years just to be at number 22, and then nothing higher. Mm-mm. It's just all been lower from there on out.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And like, this is like her heritage. This is like her life. And people that are saying this is coming out of left field, like, honey, this was inevitable. And I'm now going to listen to country, I guess.
We're country folks now. Yeah. We don't know the title of the next album yet, right?
No.
It's just we know it's Act 2.
Yeah, people are saying it's Renaissance. I don't think that's the case.
I don't think so either, but if it is, it would make sense. Like, I wouldn't be angry of it, because like it's her 3 acts are the Renaissance of black music. Black music reclaiming their music. First we started with house music, and then we're now jumping into country music, and then the rumor is that we might get rock music for her next album, for Act 3.
Could you imagine a Beyonce rock album?
She's done it before.
But like, you know, she's going hard.
But like, going just 10 times harder. I think she's gonna do great.
The only way I could see them having it be named Renaissance is if that, like, obviously the entire aesthetic has changed, which will be the case.
Yeah.
I'm assuming. It's just going to be like...
She will still wear a cowboy hat. No matter, she wore a disco cowboy hat.
She was on a fucking horse.
I mean, yeah, but the disco cowboy hat was like the theme. This time it's just going to be a regular cowboy hat. And now if it's rock, it's going to be more like what's his name? Slash, the famous guitarist. It's gonna be a top hat.
Oh my gosh.
So now we're going to move on to our little recommendations corner. Just things that we've watched, TV, and things that we've listened to. Yeah. So let's start off with shows and movies that we watched, and talk about it real briefly. So the first one that we watched this week that we have to bring up is Abbot Elementary.
Yes, Abbot Elementary is one of my favorite series currently airing.
Yeah, I mean, it's the funniest show on TV right now, guys. If you're not watching it, you are missing out. It's just 30 minutes once a week on a Wednesday. And if you don't catch it on a Wednesday on TV, it'll be on Hulu the next day. Yes. So you don't have an excuse on not to watch it.
Yeah, if you've seen The Office, if you've seen Modern Family, if you've
it's that style.
It's very much that style. It follows a group of teachers teaching in a public school in Philadelphia, and just kind of like the trials and tribulations of like being that every day.
Yeah, we got the writer, Quentin Brunson, who is also the main character.
Yes, Janine Teague is a hoot. If you haven't seen it, you need to just like check it out.
And then the next show that we've been watching this past week is RuPaul Drag Race.
Of course.
We got to. Yes. This episode was Snatch Game. Some queens did good. Some queens did bad. Some queens did horrible. And the one that did really horrible, she saved herself.
She wasn't in the bottom. Her outfit.
She was in the bottom 3, but she was in the bottom. She wasn't in the bottom 2. She didn't have to lip sync for her life. Yeah. What's her name again?
Nymphia wins.
Nymphia. Okay, I wasn't.
So she I forgot what kind of like dancing it was. She said it was like a direct contrast to like ballet dancing, but that's kind of like what she came out in her runway. Yeah, because
what was the category? Just dancing. Like
it was just dancing.
Yeah, everybody had to show their style of dancing,
and she just knocked it right out the park, and like she
did really good. But in the Snatch Game, she did horrible.
She was not funny, and who was calling her out, bitch.
Even during Snatch Game, like okay. And anyways, we're gonna move on. Every time she had a joke, it did not land. No. It did not do good.
She was who was she?
Just some gorilla doctor. I forgot her name.
Just some gorilla doctor.
I forgot her name.
No, Jane Austen. No,
girl, Jane Austen. That's an author.
Jean Irwin. Jean Irwin. No.
Anyways, but yes, the winner of the night was Plain Jane.
Plain Jane with her like Slavic pop star slut woman. I forgot her name.
I forgot her name too.
Yes, but like she's just very.
But Lady Gaga gets inspiration from her, so
yeah,
that's what we got from it.
We've learned
and
that.
She
Michelle's
did so.
That.
Yeah, she did so. Plain Jane did so well that they thought she made up that character, but she's like, no, like this person actually exists. Yeah, really good episode. Some movies that we watched. We saw Aquaman 2. I know it's been out, and we saw it just now. I know we're late to the game.
Yeah. Did you guys watch it though?
I hope you didn't. I hope you don't waste your time. I hope you don't waste your time.
It was like
I have nothing to say. It was,
and then like the fact that what's her name? The main actress.
Amber Heard.
A lot of her scenes got cut out of the movie because
you can
of just like some like legal
the legal battle that she had with Johnny Depp, it didn't look good for her, it didn't look good for Johnny Depp, and so they just restricted a lot of her time.
And you can tell she was like a very important character because she's only there for like these like
she had a total of 2 lines.
No, literally, it was, and then like the graphics were just like not good.
Okay. Anyways,
and like they tried to do so much.
The other movie that we saw that we thought was pretty good was Thanksgiving by Eli Roth, directed by Eli Roth.
Came out last year.
Wacky as fuck, but they leaned into that wackiness and it worked.
Yes,
it worked.
I agree.
I really liked it, and they are coming out with a sequel, and I think it comes out this year. So
that's exciting.
Now we're going to talk about some music that we've listened to this past week. Specifically, Normani. No music, however, she did release the art cover for her debut album and the name. Dopamine. I'm super excited. I mean, it's been 6 years. 6 years, but patiently waiting. We're also waiting for Rihanna, but that's another subject.
Yes.
But super excited for Normani. Excited for her album?
Oh yeah, the cover art is great. It's her on like a black rocket, just given like cuntalicious.
Yeah, it looks really good. And then SZA released a surprise single called Saturn.
Yes.
I mean, I like it. I like it.
It's really good.
It gives the same vibe from her previously released album, SOS. We also have we've listened to Love On by Selena Gomez.
Yeah, so cute.
Very cute. I mean,
liked it.
Yeah.
Especially the music video. It's very Emily and Perry.
Oh, yeah. And a little comment that I made, while Sarah Bareilles does not want to write love songs, Selena Gomez is writing all the love songs.
Oh, for sure.
We've also listened to Ariana Grande and Mariah Carey in their remix single to Ariana Grande's song "Yes and?"
Oh,
good.
I'm living for
Mariah
this
Carey
remix.
knows how to do a remix.
Exactly, and like
they're both starting off with a whistle tone.
Yes, that whistle note at the beginning. Them just harmonizing. They sound like a couple of sirens, like just ready to fuck shit up.
Mm-hmm. And that is all that we have for the news section. So now we're going to take another little quick break, but stick around and we're going to get to our last segment of the podcast. What about? All right, stick around.
See you guys. Welcome to our final segment of the episode, everyone. What about?
So since I went first last week,
yes,
I'm very excited to see what you have. So you go first.
Okay, so my topic for this week is what about the floor on Fox?
What about the floor? What about it?
So the floor, let me give you guys a little details. The Floor is a game show new to Fox. It's hosted by Rob Lowe. And can I just tell you guys, he lives up to his name because the energy is so low. You can tell he is not happy to be
there for another paycheck.
You can, there is no charisma in this man's body.
No. And I mean, I love Rob Lowe. Like, he is. Me too. He is America's sweetheart and heartthrob, but they said no. They said no for this project.
And I'm assuming that this is the case because it looks like they filmed the entire series
in one day. Like the whole season.
I'm talking, it's probably like a 12-hour shoot in this warehouse.
Yeah. Each episode, they all leave, and then when they come back, they're all wearing the same stuff. Like each episode.
So there's 81 contestants, and they're competing in trivia duels against one another. And they're securing spaces on this floor that's divided up into grids.
It's a big trivia game.
Yeah. And so, it's one-on-one, and one contestant at the end of the series is going to win $250,000. Mm-hmm. That's a lot for one day.
Yeah.
I'm like, sign me up, bitch.
Yeah. So they all have their own categories that they choose before going into the game.
And it can be it can be like specific, fruits, or it could be like historical headlines.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. I just think a lot of the categories are confusing. They'll be like what the category is titled isn't necessarily what you're doing when you guys go versing head to head. You know what I mean?
Yeah, give us an example.
Oh my god. So for I guess hair.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming the category hair is different hairstyles.
Right.
But the trivia game was a bunch of celebrities and their faces were blurred out and all you saw was their hair.
Right.
And you had to guess the celebrity's name. And I'm
that's not necessarily hairstyle. Yes, but we're guessing.
So I was just I don't know. And there's just so many, there's twists and turns that I feel like nobody expected in this game because you could have 25 pieces of the floor and you could lose it like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're gone.
Oh, yeah.
The season finale is actually this week. I don't know what day it comes out on.
I don't know. We watch it. We wait until it's on Hulu.
Yeah, but there's a 2-hour finale this week. So if you're looking for something to binge watch and just kind of,
I think it premieres on Thursday nights. Yeah, because we watch it usually on Fridays. I don't know. You can expect it every week on Hulu. So
yeah. So if you're just looking for something to kind of put on and geek out at, or something that'll test your little trivia skills, The Floor. So, Manny, what about you? What's your what about?
My what about is it's fucking ridiculous. It's a joke. Yeah.
Okay.
Something silly. Something silly.
I'm ready.
But recently, Senator Elizabeth Warren. If you don't know her, you don't know her. It's fine. It's fine. I'm not going to go into her backstory, but she is a senator for Massachusetts.
Democratic or Republican?
Democratic.
Tell
yes,
children.
she was running for president back in 2020. She lost, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I like her. She's a good senator in my opinion. But anyways, so Senator Elizabeth Warren, she was on Pod Save America, and just
was she?
Yeah, so she was just talking about the legalization of marijuana.
Fuck yeah!
And then she was propositioned by the host, Jon Favreau, to list her dream blunt rotation.
Oh no! Are you serious?
Yeah, no. So they since the topic of marijuana, he just wanted to be like, hey, so what is your dream blunt rotation? I'm sure our listeners know what a blunt rotation is, but if you don't, it is a rotation of a group of people that you hypothetically like to smoke weed with. Because you think it would be a fun time with them.
It's a group of people that you just pass the joint around.
Right, but it's a dream blunt rotation. So you're picking people that you think would it could be literally anybody, dead or alive. It's just your dream blunt rotation. So anyways, Jon Favreau, he went first, and he said his dream blunt rotation would be Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, Bernie Sanders, Janet Yellen, The Rock, and Ed Markey. But as soon as Elizabeth Warren heard the name The Rock, she's like, The Rock. The Rock, she's like, I don't need anybody else. Oh. It's just going to be me and The Rock. Wow. And we're going to just do it 4 times. Just pass it. I'm like, girl, go for it. She is in love with The Rock.
Wow.
She is in love with The Rock. She said, I don't need anybody else.
He sets fire to her loins.
Yes.
Like, she is wet and ready for The Rock.
She is ready. She's ready for The Rock. So she wants you. She wants to smoke with you.
The Rock, she wants your Rock.
But yeah, I mean, I thought it was pretty silly.
That's hilarious. I love that.
Her little dream blunt rotation is literally just The Rock. But yeah, so like I said, she's a Democratic senator. She's running for her 3rd term. Yeah. And she is a proponent for the legalization of marijuana. She's also a well-documented fan of The Rock and his show called The Ballers.
Yeah. And for those of you that don't know, Florida this year...
where we're living in. We're in Florida.
We are in Florida. We have to follow Florida's political news because, we want to make sure not everything's going to shit.
Right, exactly. We're trying to make a change. We live in a state that's not necessarily pro good things.
Yeah. It's not necessarily welcoming for us and those we associate ourselves with.
But anyways, that's a topic for another podcast if we get there. But I think we should just wrap up now.
Yeah.
That's our episode, everybody.
Thank you so much for listening, guys.
Yes, and stick around for our next episode where we will cover the last 4 episodes of Avatar: The Last Airbender, and we'll talk more news and more whatabouts.
Mm-hmm. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Love you. Bye. You guys. And don't forget, everything is wonderful.
Everything is wonderful.
Bye.
Bye.